in governance, especially in the field of health and education. Both are the core element of governance and long-term development. In health, Minister Udi Sadikin has brought market attention in healthcare service by setting an accelerator to deal with COVID. For education, Minister Nadim Makarim, the co-founder of Gojek, knowing that human capital development is the key for the long-term growth, totally changed the way students learn, teachers teach. The result is that Indonesian youth are becoming motivated and healthier. This type of public-private coalition building, which comes from President Joko Widodo, his innovative mindset to appoint these talents in such core ministries doesn't often happen. There are, of course, no one-size-fits solutions to tackle global challenges, health issues, education, and digital transformation, climate change, energy transitions. But now here in ASEAN and Indonesia, as the chair of ASEAN this year, we are seeing new models of public-private partnership, a new ASEAN way, so to speak, in making an innovative solution. Indonesia is just an example. Indonesia has shown that they are not afraid to introduce drastic reform amid crisis and growth, which bring a new ASEAN way of innovation with a good partnership, with a strong leadership. AIA is here in Jakarta, working closely with all ASEAN partners, precisely in supporting these important initiatives to address challenges across the region. Just last month, we launched a new center. We call it AIA Digital Innovation and Sustainable Economy Center. The priority of our new center is driving innovation from this region and connecting them to the global stage. The center will also serve as a public-private policy platform, inviting policymakers, political leaders, business leaders, young entrepreneurs, investors, and civil society. AIA is here. We are supporting global challenges locally and spreading local innovation globally. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Watanabe-san. Ibu Kristalina, let me come back to you. You mentioned in your remarks about the global risks. Now let me ask you a more specific questions and related to the ASEAN countries. We know that we are seeing that maybe the inflationary pressure will continue be with us for quite some time. Yeah, and if you look at on the liquidity tightening, also some countries, if you look at the design of the fiscal policy, we probably need to move into more inclusive design of the fiscal policy, but the fiscal space is limited. Yeah, and with the global economic downturn, we are seeing that China's economy is slowing down, which also definitely have an impact to ASEAN economy because China is one of the largest trading partners. So from the perspective of the fund, how the ASEAN should position themselves, the Indo-Pacific, in order to managing this kind of global economic situation?
It is true that the world economy has demonstrated remarkable resilience to a series of unthinkable events. But this has come with a high cost. First, loss of potential output. When we look at the world today, 2023, only one large economy, this of the United States, has fully recovered and even is exceeding slightly its pre-COVID trajectory. Everybody else is still falling behind. Euro area, 2% below its pre-COVID trajectory. China and most emerging markets around 5%. Low-income countries, 6, 7, and more percent. ASEAN is actually quite affected because ASEAN was projected to grow so strongly before the pandemic. And this growth dropped by half. The result is loss of potential output of 8%. So this is one significant consequence of what we have been living through. Two, interruption of supply chains because of the pandemic, because of the war in Ukraine. They have put pressure on prices, and inflation in most advanced economies and many emerging markets is going down, but not down enough. We expect that interest rates would stay high all the way through 24, possibly into 25. That has consequences for ASEAN in terms of, obviously, cost of money, but also in terms of the strength of currencies, pushed down by this high interest rate of the Fed, of the European Central Bank. So what should ASEAN do? Well, first, let me give you the very good news about ASEAN. We started from that. ASEAN should continue to grow dynamically. It is a bright spot on a rather dim horizon. Global growth this year, 3%. ASEAN, 4.5%, you said 4.6%. This is going to continue into next year. Sustaining this growth momentum, very important. It is contributing to you, to the people of ASEAN. It is contributing to the world. ASEAN is delivering 10% of global growth. This is almost twice your share in the world economy. To sustain that sound, vibrant growth, ASEAN needs three things. Number one, macroeconomic and financial stability, so there is consumer and investor confidence. This has served you well before the pandemic. It needs to remain so. And that is where the difficult choices come. Ibu Sri Mulyani, the finance, your successor here, she needs to balance on one side helping the most vulnerable people in Indonesia, providing incentive to businesses, and on the other side, build buffers against future shocks. So how could she do it? Well, make sure that taxes are collected in full, eliminate tax avoidance, and concentrate public spending where it would make the biggest dent. And that is my second point. Invest in education and skills. Young people of Asia, of the ASEAN countries, they have to have the skills for tomorrow. Because we know artificial intelligence, interesting painting. So we are already looking into which are the skills that would be most effective. It looks like not the lowest end, not the highest end, but everything in the middle. Invest in the digital connectivity. There is no future without it. That has to be done. And of course, invest in the green economy. But my most important message to ASEAN is speak loud and clear of the need for international cooperation. I come to Jakarta and I am so uplifted by ASEAN. So my message to everybody here from the ASEAN countries, I love you all.
Thank you. Thank you, Kristalina. Now let me come back to you, Ajay. Seems to me that when the Bretton Woods was established, it wasn't designed